We begin with a story we first told you about as breaking news last night at 11, the fallout from that violent clash between protesters and Capitol Police. I'm Leslie Foster.
And I'm Lorenzo Hall. So the dust has settled, but it was a very different scene less than 24 hours ago. You're looking at some of the video our crew captured last night right outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters in Southeast D.C.
And you can see some of the pushing and the shoving going on there. This was supposed to be peaceful, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. But then things clearly got out of hand.
Our Delia Gonzalez went back to that area today to see if protesters would return.
A small police presence outside of DNC headquarters today where things have mostly been peaceful. The only difference that we've seen so far, some of those gates that are right outside of the entrance, those are typically not there. There was a bit of a commotion earlier today when a demonstrator returned to confront a congressman who described last night's protesters as, quote, pro-Hamas terrorists.
Sir, what is the strategy?
A passionate debate outside DNC headquarters on a protester's call for a ceasefire in Gaza.
I've got to get your organization to call for Hamas to disarm.
Sir,
that's my strategy.
For Netanyahu to stop saying that they're going to raise Gaza to the ground and that they're fighting human animals.
California Congressman Brad Sherman posting to X that he was evacuated from the Democratic National Committee headquarters last night because of this protest for peace that turned violent. Close to 200 demonstrators with the group If Not Now clashing with Capitol Police. 6 officers were hurt, 1 New York man arrested for assaulting an officer.
They need to take our democracy seriously. We are a country that is watched all around the world. And we are going through an upheaval. And you got to think about, what do the other countries think about this country now? It's really sad.
We've called our congresspeople. We have come to their offices as constituents.
Eva Borgwart says protesters only gathered outside the DNC last night after their attempts to talk to Congress members failed. But she says their peaceful protests turned violent only when police showed up. Still, she says, their message is clear.
We have relatives and loved ones who were murdered on October 7th in Israel and are being held by Hamas right now. Of course those attacks were horrific. Of course those tactics are horrific. There's no excuse for killing civilians. What we're saying is there's also no excuse for killing Palestinian civilians.
I've reached out to the DNC for comment. I am still waiting to hear back. On Capitol Hill, Delia Gonzalez, WUSA 9.
And just within the last 30 minutes, we got a statement from the House Democratic leadership about last night's protest. It reads in part, quote, "We are thankful for the service and professionalism of the U.S. Capitol Police officers who worked to ensure that members, staff, and visitors were able to safely exit. We strongly support the First Amendment right to freedom of expression and encourage anyone exercising that right to do so peacefully."
All right.